Conference. Welcome to 2018. I'm pretty excited to be back in the fold with the BCFC once again this year, bringing you hopefully some enlightening content and telling some of the stories of things that are going on around this league. And spring camps are still a couple of months away. Obviously, all the teams and the coaches working incredibly hard, shoring up their coaching staffs and their rosters and really digging in on recruiting. But there is another event that is just getting underway. Just because spring camps aren't happening doesn't mean it's not football season, and that is the Football Canada Cup. And tryouts are starting up very shortly. High school age kids from across the country getting a chance to compete on the national stage. And this is a very cool event, something that I think has been more so focused on high schools and universities in the past, but junior football is certainly taking notice of what's going on there as well. And one guy who knows a lot about that is Matt Blocker, head coach of the Langley Rams, and he joins me now today. Matt, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for having me on, Dahmer.
So I guess a big thing about this here is maybe a lot of people don't really know about the Canada Cup. They don't know what it is, why it's so cool, what these kids get to experience, but you certainly do know firsthand what it's all about. So, Coach, tell us a bit about your experiences with the Canada Cup and what it means to these kids that take part in it.
Well, I think, first of all, number one, it's an opportunity here in BC for these young men to compete and then compete for the province, which I think is great. And then the next of all is to have an opportunity to compete with and against some of the best talent in Canada. So it's the best players playing against the best players in our nation. So I think that's really cool. And last, it's just an incredible experience for these guys, the way the tournament is set up, the way it's ran. It's just it's a great 10 days of football, for these young guys. So I know one thing, I sure would love to be a part of it. If I was the right age back then, Dom, I'll tell you that.
That's many, many years ago, Coach, for sure. I mean, and you touched on it a bit there, but from a kid's perspective, if you're in grade 10, 11, you can get all the game film you want, but when you're competing in your own high school league, coaches are going to criticize that game film. What's the talent that you're playing against? And you just said it. This is best on best game film on a national stage. From a high school kid's perspective, is there anything more valuable than that?
There really isn't. I think more than anything too, it preps these guys going into their last years of high school and then ready to move on, post-secondary. And, that's where the BCFC comes in and all 6 teams here in the BCFC, we're all excited about, having an opportunity to see these kids compete against the best. And there's nothing better in recruiting when you get the film in and seeing it, from one of these tournaments here at the Canada Cup. So I know that all the coaches in the BCFC, love the Canada Cup and love to watch it and see our top kids in our province perform and hopefully have an opportunity to recruit those kids into junior football in the BCFC.
You touched on it there as well. From a recruiting perspective, I mean, when you're talking about the summer months, a lot of these kids aren't going to be in school. Their football seasons, their high school seasons are going to be over. This is a chance for you to get sort of bonus time, bonus face time to watch them, to talk to them, to get to know them. From a program perspective and from a league perspective, where's the value in sort of, being a part of this whole Football Canada Cup experience?
Well, first of all, I think from a program and from the, BCFC standpoint, us, once again, we have the opportunity now to see the best of the best and also get the opportunity to go and watch them play and then educate these young men about junior football in the BCFC. And, some of the struggles sometimes we have is in the past, and I'm sure will continue in the future, is making sure that we're educating everybody in our province about junior football and the opportunities and the 2 free years that these young men have to develop in without losing eligibility. And these are the opportunity now, working with the best, to be able to have that. And not only that, working with with the coaches that are part of Canada Cup BC and having an opportunity to speak to these players. And I know the coaching staff itself is well, well aware of everybody in the BCFC and would open their doors to all teams.
Coach, I mean, you said this when we were chatting about this tournament before we sort of went live here, that this has been kind of a real hub of recruiting for U Sport and for CIS football, because everyone, I think, draws the connection. Hey, if you're a high-level athlete with the good grades, you're going straight to U Sport, and that's the route to take out of high school. Is this a chance for the BCFC too to get that foot in and get the face in and say, look, we have teams offering scholarship programs, educational opportunities, like you said, 2 free years. There is sort of another route to take that can, of course, lead you to U Sport, but there's another way to go about it than just going straight out of high school. Is this maybe a chance where you see the BCFC sort of getting a foot and a face in and sharing that side of the story?
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, as they say, there's more ways to skin a cat, right, than just one. So, we take that same approach here in the BCFC with all the players. And like I say, it comes down to educating. And I think that we got to do a better job and continue to do a better job in educating, all the positive things of junior football. And there's so many young kids out there that aren't ready academically, mentally, and maybe not even physically yet, to make that jump and make an impact at U Sport and have the opportunity to develop in one of those 3 phases in junior football, I think is so important. And keeping these young guys involved in football and keeping their dream alive in football. So, I think it's up to us as a league, and it's up to us as head coaches, and it's up to us as programs to make sure we're out educating that, and especially when it comes to our best talent in our province and keeping that talent in our province.
You've been around a long time, Coach, and you've seen this league develop in a lot of ways and completely sort of change not only the BCFC but the CJFL as well. Is this another example where you can go there as a BCFC coach to the Canada Cup and feel pride in the league that you're representing and not feel sort of that intimidation factor maybe by, the University of Calgary's here, University of Regina, why would a kid even talk to me if those guys are here? But that's not the case anymore. And I think the profile of this league has come a long way. Is that something you've noticed as well, that, the landscape has really changed on the national scene and even provincially as well?
Well, there's no doubt about it. And first of all, you are right, Dom. I have been around a long time. And I've just seen the development and growth, and I think it's fantastic. And, a lot of credit of that, goes to everybody that's been, banging doors down here in the BCFC and keeping our sport alive and growing it. And, and also I think, from being around and seeing, all the different conferences and being up close, with the BCFC especially, we're really proud of our product, and it shows with all the media cover that's given to the BCFC, which is more than any other, of the conferences by far. And it is pride, and we should all be proud in this product because it's getting better and better every year, and it's growing. So we got to continue to grow it and push it, but we do need to stand tall. We have a product, I think, that competes with anybody in the nation, and you can see all the players that leave our leagues and move on, whether it is to U Sport or straight to the pros, and we're consistently developing players and pushing them to the next level. So I think there should be a ton of pride, and any coach in the BCF should stand tall at that Canada Cup and enjoy the event and enjoy recruiting these good players.
Matt Blocker, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it.
You bet, Dom. Take care.
Head coach of the Langley Rams, Matt Blocker, joining me to talk some Canada Cup best on best football coming up this summer. The coaches are going to be paying attention. The BCFC will be as well, and it's definitely a tournament you should check out too.